Hello and welcome to my channel Health and Wellness with Emma Mentel, and welcome to my day 11 update of my planned 21-day fast. For those of you who've been watching my updates from the start, thank you so much for your feedback and your comments. And I'm sort of missing a day in between here and there because there's not much to report. But day 11, I think, is a significant day, and there are a few things that I've noticed and that I would like to share with you. The first thing is that I have observed and noticed a little bit of resistance or frustration in the last 2 days. Interestingly enough, the weight loss has plateaued a little bit for a few days. So of course, when one of our main aims with something like this is to shift a significant amount of weight, then it can feel a little bit frustrating when we can't see the evidence of that shift. That really is so motivating when we can see the weight coming down every day. So what I noticed this morning, and I did go for a swim in the ocean as part of my daily self-care, my nourishment comes from so many other places. It doesn't just have to come from food. And I just noticed that there was quite a bit of frustration, which I noticed and I acknowledged it. And I wanted to find out more. What is that about? Because I do not want to sabotage this fast. It's going so well. From an energy point of view, as you can see, all is good. My blood glucose with the continuous blood glucose monitor has been great. At times increased a bit and gone up a bit, which is surprising. It's not something I really know what to anticipate, but there's been no incidence of low blood glucose. So that's good. That for me is very reassuring. And that was going to be my one measure of whether I should perhaps consider adapting my fast. So from that point of view, I've not needed any additional food or nourishment or support. So let's talk about the frustration, which is sort of midway. I'm sort of halfway with this fast if I'm going to go for 21 days. It can be that the body is trying to adapt metabolically. It might be that the body is slowing down the metabolism because it's attempting to conserve energy. My nervous system might perceive this as a really big stressor, going without food for such an extended period of time. So one would expect your body to make certain adjustments and adaptations when in the initial few kilograms, so there's probably about 5 or maybe 5.5 kilograms of weight loss so far, and it's day 11. So it's not been super fast, but it's been good up to a point. I also know that one's nervous system and our conditioning, so our primitive part of the brain, might be trying to ensure safety. It might perceive some kind of a threat. It might not know what to do when suddenly there's just no food coming in for such a long time. So that might be part of the resistance. And I try and talk to myself in a way that is encouraging, that's acknowledging how well it's going, that's reassuring, and that's calming. The last thing we want to do when things are feeling a little bit stuck is to become harsh and critical and judgmental. I still want to acknowledge the miracles that are taking place in my body during these times. I still want to acknowledge that it takes a discipline and commitment to do something like this. So I don't want to become harsh with my inner voice, although I noticed that very much this morning, feeling a bit despondent. Okay, where am I going to go from here? You know, what's going to happen next? We want instant rewards. We want to see that our efforts pay off. And when we can't see it on the scale in this sort of context, then we might feel that things aren't happening the way they should. And I'm trying to trust that everything is happening exactly as it should. So for me, it's been a big lesson to really go more within, to don't tune out of my body, and to not try and find more distractions when I'm experiencing a little bit of and it's not a rough patch because I'm struggling with hunger or because I'm suffering. It's more the intrusive thoughts as part of this little bit of a plateau, which I'm sure many of you can relate to. I have decided to, and I've been very conscious of and mindful of the idea of making my body feel safe, of being really mindful about what I think, what I listen to. When I'm just suddenly scrolling mindlessly, I notice that, and I'm like, this is just scrolling. You can do something better and more nourishing with your time. And because I mentioned right in the beginning that this for me was not just a weight loss effort, this was also to break harmful patterns and harmful habits that I had around eating, comfort eating. So replacing one unhealthy habit with another habit is not really what I'm after at this stage. So I don't want to think of eating, and then if I can't eat, I now want to just scroll on social media. I want to find deeply soothing, nourishing, revitalizing habits, whatever they are, whether it's yoga or breathing, meditation, dancing, being in the garden, getting creative, coloring in, drawing, journaling, really documenting in this process. That will help me to integrate and to connect deeper with the next step, where I'm getting stuck. So that's my intention for now, is to try and become less distracted by outside things and to go more within, even more within. I have had several phrases that have been helpful to me. If I think of how I would like to speak to my future self, or I had an NLP session earlier today that was really helpful for me to think of myself as the future self, say where I'll be in September, and talking to my current self from that experience of already having achieved what I would like to achieve. And then one can find some really helpful affirmations. And one of the things, and not just from our future self, something that I found really helpful in the last few months has been to not break my own word to myself. What does that look like? It means that if I say I'm going to do something, that I must do it. If I say I'm not going to do something, then I'm not going to do it. And that's how we learn to also trust ourselves more. We want other people to show up for us in a way that we can trust what they are saying is reliable and trustworthy, and we want to do the same with ourselves. So part of this process for me is reaffirming that I'm not going to break my own word to myself, because it might feel a little bit frustrating, because then we're just reinforcing the same habit. And I'm also not going to give up on myself, because I've been so committed to this. Part of valuing yourself, part of self-love, part of self-care, means that we take ourselves seriously, that when we say something, we mean it, within reason, of course. And in the exercise that I did with a very gifted friend of mine who offers hypnotherapy, and I can leave details on my thread if you would like me to. She's been helping me with some hypnosis sessions to try and get rid of those unhealthy habits, beliefs, patterns that one gets into, not just around eating, but around self-worth, around confidence, and all those kind of things. And I wrote down a few of the phrases as if I'm standing in my future self who's achieved, from a weight and a health point of view, what I've set out to achieve. And perhaps that could be August or September of this year. And this is what I would say to my current self. And I thought I'll share that with you, because for me, it feels important that I remind myself of this, because it's already true. The first thing was that you are worth it. You are worthy. You are worthy of the best health. You are worthy to feel so good in your own skin. So whatever it takes for you, whatever you're committing to as part of that, is because you are worthy. And linked to that, but maybe just a slightly different wording, came up as you are deserving. And saying to yourself that you are deserving can start to impact on so many levels. Deserving of anything that you can think of that you might, and you might want to do this exercise right now, and get a piece of paper and write down you are worthy, and think of what you want to be worthy of. The best health, worthy of success, worthy of abundance, worthy of vitality. And you can fill in the rest. You are deserving, and then you can think deserving of the things that you desire, perhaps deserving of the success, the vitality, the confidence, feeling good in your own skin, love, better finances, that holiday that you've been wanting to go on. And these are usually old patterns that we come to revisit as we get older, maybe even from young childhood, where you might not have felt worthy or deserving. Another phrase, and that for me was so lovely, as I closed my eyes while I had the session, right at the end, the words came, you are so loved. And of course, we all think of self-love in so many different ways. We each have our own love language. But if you can start to affirm that, and if you can start to say that to yourself in ways that feels truly believable, that's going to encourage you to take better care of yourself. When you feel so loved by yourself and by the significant people in your health and your life, you might want to really take care of yourself better. You will take care of your health better. And then I also added you are safe. So safety, belonging, those kind of concepts or perspectives are important, especially when we take away something like food, because then you feel really there's nowhere to hide. And I've mentioned it in many of my previous videos. So this is a day 11, almost at the end of day 11 for me. I am very motivated. I'm 10 out of 10 motivated to continue. My frustration is definitely less than it was this morning, and there's more of an acceptance and a willingness to just be gentle, to not push and shove myself into the next step, to really go gently with it. Sometimes we need a little bit more of a gentle approach. And from a blood sugar point of view, the daily graphs I can see on the continuous blood glucose monitor, great, some interesting peaks, but all good. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for visiting my channel. Please subscribe. Please share this video with anybody you feel might benefit. Please comment, ask your questions. Thank you for those of you who are asking questions and commenting, and I really look forward to chatting to you soon about my next update. Thank you so much for being here.